What's going on, guys? It's your man, Big Veg, your Rockarazzi Meat Ambassador. You already know what it is, man. I'm out here in New York, man, making sure you guys are tuned into the hottest show in Philly. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about Millennial Hot, okay? With my gym twin, Tia, you already know it is, head host over there, man, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Y'all better get tuned into this dope show, man. Come on, tune in, y'all.
Hey, it's your girl, Tia Shasha High, the host of Millennial High, where the trend-setting millennial comes for motivation, inspiration, and deep conversation. On today's show, we have two fabulous guests, Zemirah Scott, and we have Tracie Roberts. And I wanted to put this show together because I know a lot of us set an intention in 2018 to live a healthier lifestyle. So hopefully, and actually not even hopefully, they will help us achieve that goal, because let me tell you, these girls are phenomenal. I followed them a lot on social media. I worked with Z a few times. Yeah, we got to set those appointments up, Z.
We got it.
But until then, definitely stick in, stay tuned. We have a really great show. Also in our Trendsetter segment, the show, it's like a section where we highlight people, music, places, any type of trendsetter on the leading edge. And in that show, we have Trina, and Trina is absolutely awesome. She is a certified RYT Vanasa and SPRY method yoga instructor, and she'll share with us the benefits of a mind-body connection through yoga as a lifestyle. A little bit about Millennial High. This show serves as a platform for those who want to inspire and provoke others to take action toward their purpose in life. So if you have an inspirational, uplifting, thought-provoking message you want to share with the millennials of the world, I want you, be on the show. Also, I am looking for an intern. So if you know anyone in college, I definitely could use an intern for social media stuff, and just helping with guests and keeping track of emails. Because I know you two know that there's a lot to do, right? So have them email me at millennialhigh@gmail.com and let's connect. First thing I like to do for any show is set the mood. And setting the mood to me is setting an intention. And I love to do this through music. So what I want to do is play a song off The Greatest Showman soundtrack called This Is Me. It was performed by Keela Settle, and it actually won an award for Best Original Song and Audio. What was that show? Oh, the Golden Globes. On the Golden Globes, it finally won a Golden Globe. So let's play that song, and then stick around. We'll get right back, and we'll talk to Z and Tracie about how to stay fit and fab in 2018. And we are back. If you're just tuned in, you're listening to Millennial High on 106.5 FM, and I'm your host, Tia Shasha High, and you just heard This Is Me off The Greatest Showman soundtrack. That was a great song, right? I love that song.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, and if you have time, definitely pull it up on Apple Music or whatever you use, Spotify. But I don't know if Spotify gives you the lyrics too, but you got to read the lyrics. It's so great. Absolutely. So now let's get on to the high of the show. I have my wonderful guest here, Z. I call her Z. Can I call you Z? Okay.
Yeah, call me Z. That's fine. That's right.
She is such an amazing person. She's a philanthropist. She's CEO of DGG Philly, a branding and marketing development group. And she is a certified personal trainer and holistic health coach.
Yes.
Zemirah's involvement with small business development, speaking at conferences, and mentoring the youth has truly impacted the communities around her. So thank you, Z, for that. You're just so amazing. I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And Tracie Roberts, thank you so much. Let me tell you, even before we messaged each other on Facebook, I've seen you all over social media, like doing your thing, killing it. I appreciate you for that. Tracie Roberts is the CEO of Tracie's Takeover and Pretty and Strong Apparel. As a sufferer of bipolar depression, she is very open about her struggles and shares her journey in navigating this disease through fitness. She has lost almost 100 pounds and gained self-love, most importantly.
Most importantly, self-love is always the most important thing.
Yeah, and the mission of Tracie's Takeover is to help women find and focus on the things they love about themselves, then develop fitness goals to change the physical things they want to work on. And you have a new book coming out, and we're definitely going to talk about that too, which is such a great concept. I absolutely love it. So let's just start. Tracie, Z, whoever, let's just start. Tracie, your purpose, and I know it's a huge loaded question, right? But so I'll scale it down. But what is the purpose that you found in your life through Tracie's Takeover? So let's just start a little bit about your story.
So Tracie's Takeover actually started about 2.5 years ago. But my fitness journey started back in 2011 when I actually lost 100 pounds the first time. So this is the second time me losing that 100 pounds. The first time I did everything right. I went online, did some research, figured out how to eat a little bit better, how to move my body more, and the weight came off in about a year. The problem is I didn't focus on the mental side of it. So my depression just spiraled out of control and actually gained all the weight back then some, about 120 pounds in like 8 to 10 months. Like, it was crazy. I kind of just laid there, ate, and did nothing. And kind of just lived life, just walking and not really doing anything with myself, but just being there for the next couple years. About 2.5 years ago, I actually made an attempt on my life and ended up hospitalized, and that was a wake-up call for me. And I realized that I had to change myself, but not just the physical side this time. I really had to change the mental side as well. And just started focusing on that self-love and really looking in the mirror every day and telling myself that I love myself and that I was worth it. And I was able to go back and grab those tools that I had learned the first time. And, yeah, so I'm down almost 100 pounds again.
Beautiful.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Beautiful. And, you know, I love when you say it's so true, because a lot of us, when we go and we start out on like a weight loss journey, it's always just about the physical. Yeah. But it's, I mean, and I feel like the reason we want to lose weight is so much more than just how we look in a dress or how we look in those pair of jeans. Yeah. It's really has to do with something like the mental aspect of it. And so then how did you put 2 and 2 together?
I think it was hitting that rock bottom and realizing before, even when I lost the weight, I still didn't like the way I felt about myself. I felt like when I was 269 pounds, I felt the exact same way when I got down to 169 pounds. I looked in the mirror and the reflection really had not changed through my eyes. Wow. Everybody else saw it, but I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I look a mess. But this time, like, I've lost the weight and I'm not even as small as I was before. And, like, half the time you can't tell me nothing. Like, whatever. So it really is just changing your mindset and the way you think about yourself. And like you said, we always think that we want to just change the outside and that's going to make everything better. But it's really not. Until we focus on those internal issues that we're dealing with and focus on how we really feel about ourselves, then that image in the mirror isn't going to change for us as well. It may change for everybody else, but when we see ourselves, it's going to be that same image.
Is that what you do through Tracie's Takeover?
Yeah, so that's what I do through Tracie's Takeover. I want to help other women feel the same way that I feel now, because I know how it is, especially when you've lost the weight and gained it back. I feel like so many women have done that, whether it's the same 5 to 10 pounds or whether it's 100 pounds. We're constantly going back and forth. And I still, struggle and gain the weight and lose it. But when I gain the weight, I don't lose the confidence that I've built. So I'm able to still take those things that I've learned to lose the weight and say, okay, I gained 5 pounds. Let me lose it again. But I don't just spiral out of control and fall into a deep depression or lose the confidence. I still look at myself and, okay, I'm 5 pounds heavier, but I still look good. I still feel good. I'm still me.
See, I love that. I love that. So I have a lot more questions for you. Z, let's get you into the conversation now. Sure. So let's talk about your dive into fitness. So what's the background with you? And every time I see you, you're always posting some good looking drinks.
Yes.
So I'm like, I messaged you. I'm like, can you show me a video because mine does not look like that.
I think we're gonna have to do it in person. So we'll
Right.
do it in person. So my health journey, I guess, primarily started. I was always athletic. Like I always just enjoyed running. I guess I can say I always enjoyed just being active. But in my early 20s, I started to be less active. And then I realized, and most people, just like kind of how Tracie said, like you see yourself and you know how you're supposed to feel and look, and everyone else can see you and just be like, wow, you look great. I didn't feel great. Yeah. You know, I was still feeding myself things. I wasn't really knowledgeable about what the nutrition was that I'm really supposed to be abstaining from my body. And so what I did is started researching. I took some classes, now more nutritional stuff. And then I started following more of like an alkaline meal-based plan. So like everything's like plant-based, but it's like non-mucus forming foods. So less things that are acidic for our bodies to just really neutralize it with the minerals. But that whole journey, I'm still on it. Every single day I learn something new, or every single day I'm just like, man, like I feel really good. I just finished a 21-day fast.
Oh, nice. See?
Oh my gosh.
A complete fast? Like
A complete.
water?
So I did water and juicing.
Okay.
And tons of herbal teas, tons of prayer, getting me through it. Like,
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
Yeah, you had to.
Oh my gosh. But it's not recommended for everyone. And I tell people, like, don't just do a fast to do one just because you see everyone else doing it. Like, actually get to know your body first to see if it can actually happen. So that's my journey, and I'm still on this journey, and I'm just so blessed to just have people like Tracie inspire, other people just like me in the same field, and just be like, let's go for it.
So how do you share with other women? Is Tracie's takeover just for women?
It is just for you. I mean, I feel like my story and the things that I've gone through can definitely help everybody. But I feel like as women, we just think differently. We act differently. Like, it's not going to be the same for a man. So I definitely focus on women, and my focus is on women who have gone through that struggle, who really have fallen down and don't really know where to go, or feel like they're kind of in this continuous cycle and don't know how to get out of it. Because I felt like that for so many years. So Tracie's takeover is for them.
Because it's so easy to like fluctuate like with weight, especially. And then it's so interesting because that's the thing. Obviously, that's our outward appearance. That's what most people see. And so then for Z, how do you use your program to help others?
So I basically try to focus on like what is it that we actually are eating. Like certain things are more like comfort based. So if we can find an alternative that's maybe not as high in sugars or not as starchy, then that's good. We can still have all the things that we definitely love. I love my cinnamon rolls. I love my breads. I love all that. But, now I'm going to like different grains. Like now instead of just, certain flours, I'm using an alternative. So it goes to show you can still have everything. You just have to do it in moderation and just know how to do it. So I teach how to do it. Yeah.
So I want to share with you a story about my sister.
Let's do it.
So basically, this would happen. So I was telling her, she's like, "Oh, Tia, who are you going to have on your show on Sunday?" And I was telling her about, I want to have a fitness coach. I want to have someone who lost over 100 pounds, and she helps other women do the same thing. She's like, "Oh, well, how does she do it? How are they lose weight?" I'm like, working out and eating right. She's like, "Oh."
Like, no, son, no quick.
Everyone wants some big stories, some magic.
She's like, "Oh, I don't have time for that." I'm like, "But wait a minute. But I think that's the conversation that most people say because everyone wants that quick fix. And I cannot lie. I have been that way too. Right. Yeah. I've gone to see diet doctors. I've told you, I've taken, shots and I've taken this and it, but the weight comes off, but it doesn't stay off, and it's kind of like, how can you make this a lifestyle? And I have some questions for you too. Like, how can the average person like me, so I trained one day with Z, and we did like FaceTime in my gym that I have in the apartment, and she was telling me what to do, and I'm talking to her, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy because she's like in this.
And what did I say? I was like, "Don't worry about what
She's like, don't worry about what they say." I'm like, and I'm not because they already look good, so let me give. So what can we do just like practically every day? You know, I know that they can always reach out to you to work with you. So what advice can you give someone like the listener, like me? We're trying to set the attention and actually manifest like a healthier lifestyle. Like what does that look like? Like we all say healthy lifestyle, but what does that really look like for you, Z or Tracie?
I feel like, just like Zemirah said, it's about making healthy alternatives to what you're already eating, because I definitely couldn't have lost the weight and kept it off for as long as I have, just completely changing the way I ate. Because you're still going to have those cravings. You're still going to want those things that you had before. So you have to, I'm really big on trying new foods. Because if you can replace a food that you used to have with something else that you love just as much but is healthier, I think that's the way to go. Because I don't say, oh, I'm just never going to eat bread again. I'm never going to do this again. Like that's not practical. It's not going to happen. I've tried it plenty of times before, and then I go back and I binge, and I get on the scale and I'm like 8 pounds heavier the next day.
Because there's these fad diets, right?
Yeah, right.
Like
they don't work.
Yeah, they don't. I definitely don't recommend that.
I mean, like for maybe like a moment in time, but it's not long lasting. So one idea or one thing that we can do that Tracie says is that you find a healthy alternative. So is there like a website for that, or is there, like, for instance, I know that you have a lot of material that you have. So what's one place that we can find like a healthy alternative for like okay, my thing is chocolate. It's so typical, I know, but I do love sweets. Okay. Like, so what's an alternative for sweets? Like people like me with a sweet tooth.
Yeah, there's like, I think I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's like cacho powder or like something. It's like CAICO powder. And that is like raw cocoa. But I know you like the milk chocolatey. You like something else. So I also have a protein shake that's plant-based. So again, going to alternatives, that's chocolate, but it's using actual cocoa, and you can make snacks out of that and bars and still your brownies and still all that fun stuff. But it's like, oh, great, I just added something in and I took something away. So that would be my thing as far as finding something that, pretty much what Tracie said, finding an alternative. I would definitely add, if you don't drink water, drink more water. Yeah. Like, definitely. That's huge.
Water is huge. And I didn't realize that until the only thing that I changed was my water intake. And I not only saw the scale change, but my skin, the way I felt, like, you literally get more energy when you drink water. It's crazy. I was like, what? Like, what is this? Yeah. Also, with the chocolate, like, if you can't bake, or, you know, you're not going to make a shake and you just want chocolate real quick, like, I used to go and always grab the king size candy bars. So, you know, work your way down, get a regular size one. But now, like, I might just grab a Hershey Kiss, like having like the little miniature ones. Yeah. Because if you have a whole candy bar, some people might just say, you know, get a brick. No, I'm not going to do that. If I open it, I'm eating the whole thing. So I'm going to get the miniature ones. Because, like I said, if I open it, I'm eating the whole thing.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. The other day, so I went to go to the gas station to fill up my tank, and I'm like, oh, let me look to see what they have down the candy aisle. Z, don't laugh at me. And all I saw was king size everything. It's like they don't even sell normal size chocolate.
You have to look for them.
You have to look for them. It's always king size, and just like, okay, well, if I get this, let me break it in half. But then that half turns into like the other half, and then the entire thing.
Then it's gone, and you're like, what happened?
Look, listen. Okay, so then what about like normal eats? Like, what about something like meal plans? Like, what about? I see so many people doing the not prepackaged, but the, what is it?
Meal prepping.
The meal prepping. Yeah. Is that vital?
I think meal prepping is amazing. When I do it, it works. You don't have to worry about what you eat. But the problem is sometimes we don't have time to meal prep. So so I can do it maybe half the time, or when I meal prep and I go in the refrigerator to get my food and my kids have eaten my prepared meals. Like, that's what like we as like moms and like real world people have to deal with. So you go on Instagram and you see and it's all pretty, but it doesn't always work out that way. Right. So when you're on the run, just making smarter choices. Like I mean, when I go to Wawa, just grabbing, you know, I get the hoagie bowls now instead of a hoagie.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, just little things like that, because it's not always going to be a perfect world. But if you can meal prep, because that's going to save you time, energy, frustration, and everything else.
I definitely agree with Tracie. I feel like that keeps you disciplined. That
Yeah.
keeps you on the right track. You're just like, okay, I already know I have my meal. And especially when somebody eats it out of the fridge, that's happening. I said, wait, hold on. I was looking forward to that. You going home. And it's just like making the smarter choices if you have to go out. Okay, actually taking the time to be like, all right, let me not, let me not just get drunk.
Now, I love what you said, Tracie, about being a mother, having a family, or I know, Z, you have your little sister that I love seeing how you incorporate the healthy lifestyle with her. And it's me trying to incorporate that with my daughter back here. Even though who knows if she'll say, oh, I don't want to eat that again. It's just like, Mom, every time you try to do something and lose weight, why do I always have to do it? And I'm like, because you live here and I'm not buying 2 things of food.
Exactly.
Like, that's why.
You're going to eat what I eat.
Right, at this point. I think, what's funny? Some moms say, oh, I don't want to eat healthier because, and this is what has happened to some of my clients that are moms, because everyone in the house eats this way. So I just kind of fix what everyone eats. And I'm like, we have to kind of transition everyone then.
Yeah.
If you're making this conscious choice, let everyone make this conscious choice and support you with you.
Exactly, because I feel I'm like, I can't eat like the right thing and see my daughter eating like the wrong thing.
Right.
Like there's a reason why. And can we talk about that too? Like
absolutely,
the reason why making healthier choices is the better thing besides the weight loss.
Sure.
But there's this there's a spiritual aspect to it. There's a mental, emotional aspect to it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Either one.
Yeah, so like you said, like I suffer from bipolar depression, and I feel like along with the exercise, food has been such a huge difference in the way that I feel, because when I eat junk, like I will sink so low so quickly. But when I'm eating the right things, like we said with the water, eating, whole foods, you get that energy. So even when you may have a low day, or you feel like, or when you feel like you don't really have the energy that you normally would, eating the right foods, putting the right things into your body is going to help with that. So that combination between good foods and exercise has been key to me, just for life.
I completely agree, especially with eating the wrong foods. It just does like this weird chemical imbalance in our bodies that completely triggers our neuros, and just like, I'm getting into the science aspect of it, but that's very true. Like it completely just sets off different type of moods. And they say like most of our serotonin, like that we need to basically help us just live healthier, starts in the gut. 70% of it is released from the gut. So like gut health is great for mind health. Yeah. And if your gut is poor, then your mind is probably just doing the same exact thing. Yeah. So that's definitely a great aspect.
What are some great foods to eat then for like a healthier gut? What are some great foods to eat? Like foods that you see like, wow, give you mental clarity. Like what are some things? So we know to stay away from like, it seems like sugary things, right? All the snacks, all the junk food, stay away from that. And that's true, because when I mean, it tastes good, but then you feel like, sluggish. I feel sluggish and like tired. And I know that too. Like when I eat like a really heavy lunch and I'm just like, oh, why did I do that?
And you have to get through the rest of the day.
No, I have. Now you know what happens? Then I need the caffeine. Then I need the coffee. And it's just like this cycle, and then what's in my coffee but cream and sugar, and it's just like, okay, and then so it's too much. So then what are some suggestions? So we have water, but like what are some of your favorite foods to eat?
So I'm a big sugar person, so fruit is key, like fruit all day. If I have a sweet tooth, I will go and grab, strawberries, pineapples, any fruit that I can get before before I run and try to satisfy the craving with something else, because I'm a big sugar person. I like stir fries because I like vegetables, and anytime I can throw like shrimp and chicken in with a whole bunch of different vegetables, like I'm good. So I love stir fries. I think it's a quick, creative way to just put all the foods that you like together and make it taste good.
Yeah,
I definitely agree. I like stir fry too, but I don't eat meat anymore. So I'm out of the meat question.
You can do a veggie stir fry.
I do I do a veggie stir fry with grapeseed oil. That's my favorite.
I see, and I see a lot of people going that way too, becoming a vegan, and like, so is it kind of like you slowly transition into kind of like being a vegetarian, and then you become a vegan? Like,
Yeah, I would definitely. I transitioned. Like, this was not an overnight thing. At first, I was still eating fish. I'm like, that's still meat. Like, a lot of people are like, oh no, pescatarian. It's still meat. Like, if it bleeds, it's still meat. And then I started just now cutting that out, and then no more animal byproducts, and then completely just alkaline meal plan at this point.
What is that? You know what's so interesting? So I met Z and we went to
Hibiscus Cafe.
Yeah. And she's like, Tia, I want to take this Jamaican vegan place. I'm like, get out of here. There's no such thing.
Vegan.
Right.
There is no such thing. And she's like, yeah, there is. So we go there and it's so delicious. And she's like, oh, you can have the cheesesteak. I'm like, a cheesesteak? But what is it?
It was seitan.
Yeah,
seitan.
Yeah. But it was so good. It was so great. And I'm thinking like, okay, so I guess you can eat and be a vegan.
You can definitely transition.
Right.
It's
possible.
It's
It's
like
just this one too. So it's us slowly like working that out.
Right.
Slowly working it out, because I understand the whole red meat thing. Sometimes like she'll say, Mom, I feel like weird eating chicken with the bone.
Yeah, like you're literally eating it.
Yeah. She'll say that. She's like, oh, I feel weird now eating this. And so I'm like, all right, well, obviously there's something that's happening within us. I feel like even as a whole, like a lot of like conscious awareness that is happening around foods. And I think this is one way to do it. It's just like slowly transition. Like eventually I won't be surprised, Tracie, if like in 2 years you'll say, oh yeah, Tia, please, girl, I stopped eating meat a long time ago.
Right now, no.
Right. She said right now.
Right now, no. Maybe in a couple of years, but yeah, I like my meat. I don't eat pork and beef as much anymore, just because of the way it makes me feel. So I kind of go based on but I love all seafood. Like, I don't think I've eaten seafood that I don't like, and chicken. So, but
it's definitely a transition. Like, I don't like throw it over the head and be like, no. And no, I mean, it's when you start, I think, understanding just certain things, you make different choices. Like, I was definitely like, again, transition.
So now I know we talked about kind of like the food portion and, you know, what we should eat, what we should stay away from. And then I want to break into Trina Shumsong's piece. She's not in the studio with us today. I think she might be teaching a class, or I don't know what, but I wish she was here. Trina, I know you're listening. I wish you were here. Instead, I have a piece that she sent me so that I'm going to play. So she's going to get into, she's a certified RYT 200 and SPRY method yoga instructor. So her piece is just going to tie into the mind and body balance. And then when we're done listening to that, we're going to come back to Z, and we're going to come back to Tracie, and we're going to talk about more of the fitness, and then we'll talk about the self-care too aspect, and then find out what they're doing next. So I'm going to play Trina's piece. Trina is absolutely amazing. She's also an actor, voiceover artist, and choreographer, and performing arts instructor. Trina currently teaches yoga and dance at several studios and gymnastic centers in Lower Bucks, and choreographs for local schools and organizations. She holds a BA in theater arts and acting, and believes her diverse background in the arts combined with her yoga practice brings for a unique perspective to her work. And I think so too. I definitely want to take one of her classes. I know my friend Marcel takes a few of her classes, I think, every Tuesday. So I want to play a little bit of Trina's piece, and then we'll be back. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, my name is Trina Shumsong. I'm really excited to be on the show today. I am a certified RYT Vanasa and SPRY method yoga instructor. And I'm really excited to be discussing fitness through yoga, but more importantly, this whole idea of mind-body balance. Because the essential core of yoga itself is just that. It's the union between the mind, body, and spirit. Yoga teaches us, number one, to let go of what doesn't serve us, which we could all use more of in our lives. It also teaches us how to be in the present moment and to not dwell in the past or dwell in the future. It teaches us how to set intentions. It also shows us how to be mindful about our thoughts and our physical awareness. And it does so through breath and through poses, or what we call asana, which means pose. So when I first discovered yoga, I was living in New York. I was studying acting and dance, and I was stressed out most of the time, all of the time. And I was anxious, and I was worrying about my future, or maybe I was thinking about what I did wrong in the past when I was socializing with people, or when I was going for job interviews or auditions. And I couldn't even fully enjoy the things that were making me happy, because the things that were wrong were overpowering all of those good things. But I did know that I love to move. And as a dancer, I've always gotten lost in expressing myself through movement. So I took a yoga class. My first official yoga class was at a YMCA, which I was living in at the time, actually. They had dorms on the upper floors of the Y. And it opened a whole way of thinking to me, a whole new way of approaching things through breath and through letting go in a physical practice, which really resonated with me. So looking back at yoga's history, which is thousands of years old and very deep, and it has lots of different limbs and topics within that. What we know today as yoga, when you ask, if you were to ask anybody on the street, is movement, are the poses that you see people doing, the asana. But asana is really only one of 8 limbs of our yoga practice. And the other limbs involve things such as ethical standards, self-discipline, spiritual observations, sensory transcendence, concentration, and ideally reaching a state of true peace. And there are many different practices and rituals within those topics, within those 8 limbs. The other limbs of yoga that intertwine with our physical practice are breath and meditation. So first we think modern yoga poses, movement, and then the next 2 things may be meditation and breath. And those are the 3 limbs that we really focus in a yoga class, setting. So going into the main benefits of yoga, our physical practice of yoga, you can experience improved flexibility and improve range of motion. Also an enhanced balance, increased strength and muscle tone, greater endurance and energy, and an enhanced immune function. Our immune systems start to function better for us. Each pose targets certain areas of the body, and they have certain benefits. That's why there's so many different poses and different modifications and different variations within those poses to go deeper into our practice. The mental benefits of yoga are stress management, mental clarity, a control over our emotions, a decreased impact of negative emotions, because we're always self-judging or dwelling on those negative thoughts or how we feel, and we start to let these go as we learn to breathe through these poses. And also a sense of presence, of living in the true present moment, because that's all that's asked of you in your yoga practice, to be in one pose and to breathe through that present pose. Nothing in the past, nothing in the future. And then there's that spiritual connection. We learn a sense of compassion for others and for ourselves. And that starts with, having compassion for ourselves as we're doing these poses, and we're twisting and we're stretching and we're moving in maybe ways that we haven't moved before. We learn to be patient with ourselves. So compassion for ourselves and others. Forgiveness. Again, mindfulness. gratitude, self-discipline, and perspective. Because we're able to kind of step away and look from the outside at what's really going on. So for those of you who think yoga is either already, you have to be already really flexible or really spiritual, I want you to throw that belief out the door, because I really believe that yoga is for everybody, and it's for every body too. So tip number 1 is go take a class. Just break that ice and show up. That's the hardest part, I promise. And the best part about a yoga class is no one is there to judge you. No one around you, not your teacher. Probably the only one that will be judging you is yourself. And I encourage you to show up and just let that go and experience class. Everyone's there for the same reason, and we're there for the physical and mental benefits that we talked about earlier. So you're in good company. My second tip is to introduce yourself to your yoga instructor. Let them know it's your first class or that you're a beginner, because they're there to support you and to guide you, and they'll do just that. Yogis are so giving, and they will be there for you. They'll also give you modifications or different options in poses. So always listen to your body and do what's best for you. You never have to jump into the deepest pose if you're not ready. So take it slow and you will grow. My third tip is try some yoga on the internet. You know, the wonderful world of the internet, you can learn anything. And I've learned several things myself from looking up and researching yoga on the internet. So learn some key poses. You could just type in basic yoga poses, and so many things will pop up. Yogajournal.com is a great resource for that. And then that way you're familiar with it a little bit before you go take class. My tip number 4 is to just give it time. It's called a practice, and it's called a practice for a reason, because the more you practice, the more you'll benefit from it. So a practice, not a result. And we often think in the fitness world of results. We want to see that muscle tone. We want to see maybe shedding a few pounds or that flexibility. But really, it's about the journey, and you're experiencing it and how you feel while you're doing it, rather than the results. And because yoga is so popular now, for all of those wonderful reasons we talked about earlier, there are yoga classes happening in unusual spaces, I call it. So for example, I teach a yoga class, an event at the Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company in Croydon, PA. But if you'd like to find out my class schedule or find me, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Trina Shumsong. That last name is spelled SHUMSONK. I think I'm the only Trina Shumsong out there, so you'll see me when it pops up. I'm in a yoga pose in my profile pic, so you'll know it's me. My class schedule is up on my website at trinamar.com. That's TRINAMAR.com. So if you'd like to join me, I would love to see you in class. I teach classes in Bristol and Morrisville, PA, which is in the Lower Bucks area, northeast of Philadelphia. Then if you'd like to find out more information about that yoga and beer event, you can find that also through Facebook. Just type in yoga and beer. It's at Neshaminy Creek Brewery. So it'll be under both of our sites. And that is going to be Sunday, March 4th at 12 p.m. And tickets are limited, so if you're gonna come, get your tickets early. And again, I would love to see you there. So I hope you enjoy a happy, healthy new year. You set your intentions and your goals, and you enjoy the process. Enjoy the practice. Namaste.
And we are back. You just heard Trina Shumsong, and she was discussing yoga as a practice and for beginners. And she gave a few tips and tricks if you wanted to start that. And I know I always want to go to a class, and I'm definitely going to take one of hers. I love when Trina said that yoga is a practice. It's not a result. People want that result. They want that toned body. That's why I'm going to go out and, go to yoga class. But she's more like, it's more about the journey and the experience and how you feel while you're doing it than the results. I love that she said that. And I was just talking to Trina and Z, and we were talking about, yoga and beer.
Yeah, yoga and beer.
Yoga and beer. But I think it's more, the yoga first and then the beer if you choose. And it's kind of like, it's trying to gain like an audience, I guess, that wouldn't normally try yoga.
Right.
So it's like maybe this will entice them to come, and then after a while maybe they'll just come to a class without the beer.
You gotta get them there first.
And you gotta get them there first. And we love a good cocktail, but not some of us, I guess, maybe not Z, but Z's like, speaking for yourself. Yeah, speak for yourself. Okay, so while we were listening to that, I know Tracie shared this like magical secret that I'm like, you gotta say it on air. Me and Z, like, you gotta say it on air. So let's just recreate that conversation. How about that? Can we do that?
We can
Go ahead.
That.
So what were you saying?
That secret pill that's not a pill. So I was just telling them about intermittent fasting. So that's something that I've done on and off throughout my journey. And something that I've actually incorporated back doing now. And intermittent fasting is just when you have a window where you fast and a window where you eat. So like I was saying before, right now I'm eating for 8 hours and I'm fasting for 16 hours. And what that does is that lets your body kind of regroup and able to not work on processing the foods that you're putting into your body. So it's not putting in all that work to process the foods, but actually putting in the work to heal your body, to burn the fat, to do all those good things internally that it wouldn't have the energy to do otherwise because it would be burning all that food. And it definitely, it speeds up your weight loss. If you're able to do it the right way. And I was telling them a lot of people fail at intermittent fasting because they try to fast for either a short window that they're not prepared for yet. So if you try to fast for 4 hours when you've been eating for 10 to 12 hours a day, that's not really going to work. Or if you don't find that special window for you. So it's just all about making it work for you. But if you're able to try intermittent fasting, that's definitely something that we should try. And like Zemirah was saying, like, she asked if I did it without water. And drinking water is definitely key for me. And because even when you're not hungry, you may think you are, but if you drink water, it kind of just calms that hunger pain that we think is hunger pain down.
Right.
And we're able to keep going through that fast.
Absolutely. And I've also found another trick. So intermittent fasting is perfect. And when you start to feel that hunger pain, you can, so like in a little, I have my clients like put it like in a little jar and they carry it in their purses or whatever bags. And it's sea salt, dill weed, and cayenne. And that actually kind of tricks your body to thinking that you had a full meal. You kind of just have like just a pinch of that on your tongue.
Where's my paper?
Exactly. Take notes. So sea salt, dill weed, and cayenne.
Nice.
And then would you mix it with water?
No, I mean,
you
kind of just like take a pinch of it, or you lick the back of your hand and put like a pinch of it and lick it off. Or,
Interesting.
So I've been So that's been
that.
kind of that. Yeah. So like I do that, and then I drink some water, and I'm like, all right, good, I'm good. Because like your body, again, it's just tricking your mind to think that you just had like a full meal. It's just something with the components within the herbs.
That combination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
she's about to take me to another level.
Exactly. So let's talk about what both of you are up to next. So let's start with Z, or let's start with Tracie.
Yeah.
So right now, I was actually just telling them while we were listening as well that I have collabed with True Fitness on Instagram. and she is a trainer who's been doing this basically her whole life. And we've collabed, and we're doing a class every Tuesday at 6 p.m. at 5767 Chew Avenue. So you guys should definitely come out to that. It's going to be dope. You're going to have the combination of that trainer that's had it their whole life and that person that's been struggling with their weight, and we have fun. I'm all about fun. Anytime you can move your body and actually enjoy it, that's what I'm all about. So we play a lot of games. I'm a big kid.
Awesome. I love that.
So also I have the book that I've already released, Mommy Is This All My Fault? And this book was actually written for my kids, and it's written from the child's point of view. It lets kids know that whatever's going on with their parents is not their fault when their parent is going through depression or another mental health illness, but that everything is okay with their parent, and just opens up that conversation and let them know that everything's going to be okay. And I have another book coming up that kind of explains my journey and what I've learned from losing 100 pounds twice. It's called Dating Weight Loss But Falling in Love with Myself. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks and walk you through that whole process, but also the bigger picture of really gaining that self-love instead of focusing on the weight loss process.
And Z, what about you?
Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
And I love the title of your book too.
Right.
I love that.
Sitting here
Dating
like,
weight
wait,
loss,
what have
but
I
falling in love with myself.
Oh my gosh,
Exactly.
that is powerful. So soon I have a workshop that's coming up, and that date is still to be announced. So follow my Instagram at FitQueenZ. But the workshop is basically going to talk about like the common foods that cause inflammation and acidity, and then healthier ways to transition like off of certain foods that we love so much. There'll be a food tasting, just like different things as that, and just understanding why it's important to incorporate whole foods into our meal plans, our day to day. So I will keep you posted on that.
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
please do.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'll share it on my social media and your event too. What's the age range for your event?
Oh, so it's teenagers through adult women.
Okay.
So the first class is actually free. The first class that we're doing as our official collab is this Tuesday. So you guys come out. It's absolutely free. You can try it out, see how you guys like us.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And what time and place again?
It's at 6 p.m. at 6757 Chew Avenue in Philadelphia.
I love it. So now I definitely wanted you guys to get that out there first before we close out the show. Well, we have 5 more minutes. So I want you to just say or give just a great tip or some advice or words of encouragement to those who are going through like the struggle, the weight loss journey, or just the self-care, self-love.
So I was actually at a conference yesterday. I heard something very powerful about when we feel like we want to give up because something that we've gone through is difficult. So we've all been through something difficult, and we've all been able to push through it. When you're in the moment, it feels like you can't get through it. It feels like, it's the end of the world. But if you look back and see all the things that you've gone through, if you're able to pull that strength out of it and keep going when you get in that situation again, you're going to be able to push through it again. So I feel like that's a big process in weight loss. We feel like we failed. How can we do this again? Well, you've picked yourself up and you've done it again, whether it's 2 pounds, whether it's 5 pounds, you've done it before. You can do it again and just keep pushing, because if you don't give up this time, like, where are you going to be if you just don't give up on yourself? And when you incorporate self-love and really figuring out what is good about you, that's going to take you to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was good.
And can you give, I just want you to elaborate on the last thing that you said. So what's one way someone can just say, oh, I didn't know that about myself, or something that, like, an exercise, a quick exercise that they can do when they're feeling like really low that builds them up mentally?
So I actually look in the mirror every day and find something that I love about myself. And sometimes I don't believe it. But I just keep repeating it to myself until I do believe it, because there's always one thing that is good about you. It's difficult for us to realize that, because especially as women, we're so focused on everybody else and what's good about everybody else that we don't focus on what's actually good about us. So just find that one thing, look in the mirror, and just keep repeating it to yourself, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So I was actually I'm gonna piggyback off of that. I was actually gonna say, love your body where it's at.
Yes.
Like, absolutely fall in love with it, because the more you fall in love with it and put the work towards it, the more you'll stay committing to like defining what it is that your goal is, as far as whether it is weight loss or just toning or just, you know, I just want to shed a couple before the summer hits. Like fall in love with every single freckle, dimple, mark, everything. And then you'll start to appreciate it on a completely different level. Like affirm that to yourself, that you have the perfect X, Y, and Z, and your perfect may not be someone else's perfect, but it's yours, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
So true. That is so true.
Oh, two amazing women on the show today. Let me tell you, thank you so much for being here, Tracie. Thank you so much for being here, Z. I appreciate the both of you. Thank you for what you're doing and how you're just like shining and spreading your light like unconditionally. I think that's so amazing.
There's one thing I want to invite you to. So on Tuesday, and Tracie, I wish I could come to your event. Like, I have another conflicting event on Tuesday, so I'll say both.
Tuesday is a popular day.
Tuesday is a popular day. So we'll actually be at, I'll be at NBC 10 with WIM Global. It's a really big thing going on. So WIM Global is Women in Media. We do a lot of things in the city, but I will actually be hosting the event.
Yeah, you're going to be hosting it? Awesome.
Yes.
Z.
So yeah, come through.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. So there's two great things happening on Tuesday. But I just want to thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Marty Kerswanis, for my intro music. That was a lot of fun. I love it so much. And I believe in you. So have a great time today. I know my daughter and I, we were in the car. We were talking about, we saw some Viking Czechoslovakia. I call it Czechoslovakia. Adia, we saw some, I guess the Eagles are playing the Vikings today, right? Yeah, come here. Come. Quickly. So tell the people what's happening really quick. So what's happening today?
So today...
And the mic.
Oh my gosh. Today is the NFC Championships. So...
What does that mean?
The NFC Championships stands for the National Football. It's a National Football Championships, and there are 16 teams in the championship, in the conference, and the Eagles and the Vikings are playing each other today, and whoever wins goes to the Super Bowl.
Woo!
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you. So she was schooling me in the car.
Yeah, she definitely.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
Right? So that's what's happening
I knew
today.
it was a big game, but
Exactly.
Thank you.
Me too. And I definitely, listen, if the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, if they win today and they go, I'm definitely going to have a segment and I'm going to have like a sports 101 for anyone like me listening who want to go to the Super Bowl parties but don't want to sound like you don't know anything while you're there. Anyway, but thank you so much for listening. I love everyone. Stay lit, love inspired, and true until next time. I'm going to leave you with this song. My daughter picked it out. I have no idea what it is, but I'm sure it'll be a great one. I'll talk to you later. Bye.